In this video, we are going to study the map function of arrays. The idea is the following. An array has several values, and sometimes we want to make a transformation to each of those values and put that in another array. Let's see an example. Let's say const numbers, and we're going to write the numbers from 1 to 5, and then we're going to say const squares. I want to multiply each of these numbers by themselves. For example, 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, and so on, and put that in another array. We can use the map function for that. So let's say numbers.map, and in here I can take the value, I can say value, which represents the value of each individual element of the array, and say value times value. And that's actually it. With this, what I'm saying is take each of these elements and multiply them by themselves and put that in any array. Let's see that. Let's say here console log squares semicolon, and now let's go to the terminal because I want to say node array tab enter, and as you can see we have 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25, which means that indeed we were able to multiply every value of the original array by itself and then put the result of that in a new array. Another use case of the map function is to extract a specific property from an array of objects and put those properties into another array. Let's see an example of that. Let me say here example 1 and now example 2, and I will say const people equal to array of person. I will say ID 1, name Felipe, and country DR, and I will clone these two lines twice, and I will say 2. Here I will say Scott, and here I will say USA, and here I will say 3, Jennifer, and I will say here Canada. Okay, so now let's say that from this array of people I want to extract the ID of each of the persons of the array. We can do that. We can say const IDs equal to people map, and I can just say person here, and from the person I want to extract its ID, and that's actually it. With this, IDs will be equal to an array of 1, 2, and 3. Let's see that. Let's say console log IDs, and let me comment this out, these squares from the previous example, and now let me say node array map, enter, 1, 2, and 3, as you can see, which are the values of each ID property of each person. Another thing that we can do is to generate HTML from a JavaScript array. For example, let's say example 3, and let's do this here. Let's say const diffs equal to numbers.map. I will use my numbers array for this example, and I will say here number, and I want to do the following. I want to say backtick. I will say div here and div here, and inside of a div I want to put the value, which is number. Now I will have several divs, one for each number of my numbers array. Let me comment this out because I want to console log our divs variable. So let's say divs here, and now let me clean this out and say node array map. And as you can see, we have several HTML elements here as an array, which then can be put in a web application or something like that. This is actually really useful for libraries like React in which we do operations like this all the time.